we're going to work on installing the Cobra PowrFlo air cleaner. Looks pretty cool. Supposedly it's got some kind of vortex inside that you know, spins and whirls and twirls and makes it, I don't know, force it into the motor, whatever. Could be marketing hype, could be legit. I think it looks cool. It comes with a K&N filter. You can't run to your regular auto parts store to buy this K&N filter though. If and when you decide it needs replacement, you know, you can clean, oil them. They're K&N filters. But if and when you decide it needs replacement, you have to order it from Cobra. So it's a specialty part made just for them. In order to put that on, you know, we got to take the factory cover off. These outside bolts look to be T3s or 3 Allens, whatever. We'll zip them out real quick. And it looks like they had a little Loctite on them or something. Alright. That gets the cover plate off. Alright, so the ones underneath it are an M4 Allen. So we'll get them out. Be careful, this is gonna drop off. You might have a, you know, someone might need this. You might repurpose it for something. Don't want to scratch it all up. Now, let's see. Alright, so the factory one just pulls right off. Kind of crazy, I'm replacing it on a bike that has 500 miles on it. Alright, now we've got your breather tubes. So, you want to be nice and gentle and take those and give them a little tug. Pull them out because we're going to be reusing them. Now we need to get this backing plate off. Go ahead, and they're the same M4s. There we go. Should really get some better Allens. I think these are slightly undersized, and they're wedging themselves in the screws. Or it could be I'm using an impact where I really shouldn't. Either way, it's an excuse to buy new tools. Looks like the Banjo breather bolts in there are still holding the backing plate on, so we'll get a hold of them. Let's see, what size are them buggers? They look probably about a 12. Let's go dig around and find a 12. Okay, my calibrated eyeball was off. It's an 11. Go ahead and get them bolts, the breather bolts. You see they got a hole down the middle. Looks like they were Loctited in. Boom! Just like that. Factory backing plate off. Alright, now that we got everything stripped off, it's time to start putting some stuff back on. They give you some supplied new Banjo bolts. They actually has a 16 around the outside. Now be careful, these are aluminum. It doesn't take much, and they come already ready to go with some thread locker. So, thread them in by hand, get them good and started. And it doesn't take much. I mean, I'm almost bottomed out now, and I haven't had to use a tool. Now I've got a 16 on my impact, and I'm just going to give it a tap. Just a little bit of a love tap. Now I'll do the same thing with the other side. She always start it threading by hand. And I could run it in with my impact if I wanted to, but this is threading in so easy, it just really ain't worth it. Save me a couple seconds, I guess. Alright, now it's bottomed out, and I'll give this one a quick little tap. That's all there is to that, to putting the new ones in. Now, you've got a spacer that comes in the kit, as well as a couple gaskets, and every one of these has a notch kind of taken out of the corner. You can see the notch on that one, the notch on there. I'll line them all up. There's a notch on that and a notch on that. When you put them all together, you got to make sure the notches are facing like down. You see the notch right there on the throttle body. You just got to make sure the notch lines up with that notch on the throttle body. So all notches line up notches. Buenos noches. Alright, now when this thing comes out of the box, they've seen fit to already run these bolts in, and they just so happen to be American. Imperial, not American, Imperial. We don't own it. We just use it. So 3/8 is what you need to get these loose. And you need to loosen them up because you need this backing plate for the next install, so we got to get these bolts out of here. Alright, now that we have this backing plate, see these two dots, and you can kind of see front goes forward, and now we're going to need to put the intake spacer on the back. We're going to need to use the gaskets. We'll go ahead and get our breather hoses put back together. So let's work on the breather hoses and gaskets and get all that stuff assembled. Oh, this is about an ass kicker and a half. Alright, so I just clicked these on, and I'll pull them back off. On the 114, I don't know about the 17, but they're two separate hoses. And, you know, they go right on, and then they fit their banjo bolts that's supplied, you know, fairly well. You know, I'm going to need access to that bolt, but looking at their instructions, there should be a center breather hose. You know, got left breather, right breather, center breather hose. Center breather hose goes into the velocity stack. Right there. I don't have a center breather hose, and they don't supply one. Now, this was listed as fitting this bike on Cobra's website and on the website I ordered it from, and on multiple other websites. So I don't know, maybe Cobra hasn't looked to see that the 114 maybe is different than the 107, or that this year's the 2018 Milwaukee's have changed the breather setup from the 2017s. They just haven't had a chance to get their hands on the bike. I guess I'm going to rummage the parts bin and see if I can find some vacuum connections and a section of hose. We'll go from there. Alright, I've rummaged the parts bin, and I've got some vacuum. I got a vacuum tee, some vacuum pieces, vacuum line. Now, what it looks like I can do is this piece comes off here, and then the part that actually goes into the velocity stack, it's kind of comes in. They want you to kind of come in from the back side, and then it gets twisted and turned and kind of sits in like that. So what I'm thinking I can do is I can cut this slightly back here, leave enough that I can still put a fitting in to extend it, and then I will what do I do with the other one? Oh no! Don't you just hate that? When you're sitting there and you know you just had something and you haven't moved but about 10 feet in any direction, and it vanishes. It's in my other hand. Oh, it is definitely one of them days. So, alright, this will be connected onto the banjo bolt, and I'm going to nip off this little curve portion. That way it'll kind of come in like this, and I can tee into this, and this one will be, this piece I can actually put over on the breather. But enough trying to explain it. Let's break out the razor blade. All right, these are the tabs that were originally used to kind of hold it to the backing plate. I'm just going to trim them off just so they don't get in the way of anything. Be careful you don't cut yourself. All right, tab trimmed off. And now, like I said, I'm going to take this bend off because I need it to be straight to be able to go into a T. So, all right, got that trimmed down. And I don't like the cut, so I just cut it again. Alright, now I need to use this to be able to still attach to the banjo bolt, but I want this curved piece, because that's the piece I need to go into the velocity stack. So I'm going to cut off this little retainer nubbing thing, and I'll go down, I don't know, about yay far. Hopefully that'll give me enough. We'll cut that off. So now I've detached that piece from that piece. So now we have kind of looking like that, and this one kind of looking like that. Now we need to join these and get this sucker in the velocity stack. So, like I said, I got a T, and I don't know, depending on where this backing plate goes, might depend where I need to put the T. So, but we need to be able to get this damn thing through here. So, all right, let's play with some hose length. And if I put the T here, we are not going to be anywhere near where we need to be. No dice. So let's talk about putting the T over here. What's that going to Well, it's pretty damn close. We might be able to flex our way in there. All right. Well, let's see how that works. So, we'll get our T squished up in there and find our little elbow rubbery portion that we're going to put into the velocity stack and stretch it around the other T. Now, unfortunately, the only one I had was a different size T. It was 2 smallers into a bigger T, so I just kind of had to stretch that a little bit, but good enough for government work. Alright, now I need a joiner, and I'm going to have to cut off a small section of tube to lengthen this so it actually reaches the T. So, put a little bit of that on. We'll get that up in there. We will attach this to said banjo and kind of sort of mock up how much we need. Yeah. That's enough. Good enough, good enough, good enough. Alright, so cut off a section of tube. We'll take it and we'll... None of this is really under tremendous pressure. I mean, you can see the fit. So no, wouldn't be worried about any of this kind of like blowing apart on you. It's just for the crankcase breathers. So, all right, and we'll work this one on my overly sized joiner because I'm too lazy to go to the hardware store and buy the proper size fittings. You know, why do things the right way when you can MacGyver it? But I'll get it twisted so it's right. Alright, now we've kind of made our pseudo center. We'll see if it works. So, put this on, get that up out the way. Now, we have some bolts, and they each come with a kind of starred lock washer. We want to put that through and put that through the velocity stack. We'll put all 3 of them in. Alright, so now we got all 3 bolts kind of put in there, and they actually are going to go through the backing plate. So now you kind of got a sandwich kind of like this. Now, on the back side of that sandwich, we need to get we need a gasket, then we need a spacer, and then we need a gasket. So remember that we're trying to make sure we get our notches where our notches need to go, and it looks like from the observations, yes, kind of like that. So if you're looking at the backing plate from this view, the notch will be right here. Then we need our spacer. So you need to make sure you have gaskets on both sides of the spacer. And then we set the other gasket right on top with the notches lined up. Then we take it over to the bike and we attempt to play the three-handed monkey game and get this all put on without it coming apart on us. And try to make sure you get each one started around the edges before you go cranking down on this thing. You want each one to kind of find its necessary home. Don't want to stretch, crank too hard on it. You know, this is probably aluminium up under there. So you want to make sure you got your threads where they need to be. Alright, I got everything kind of situated. I'm just going to give it a few little easy movements. And we'll work my way around. Well, looks like we got a little bit of interference going on here with this this old bootay. These caps are like too tall. It wants to interfere. Yeah, looking at the instructions, their caps that they utilized were not all the way out here. All right, well, when in doubt, cut some more. I'm gonna see if we can. Let's try to cut these right before the transition. I wonder if because if we pop them in, or maybe I'll just now what to do? Well, it looks maybe there's enough room for this one. I'll kind of hold the filter out for a second. Yeah, that looks a hot mess, but it fits. But the front one, I can get away with the back one. It just kind of sticks out behind the filter, but you know, it's not drastic. I guess I'm gonna try to trim this one, or well, I'm gonna try to trim this one. All right, I've cut it. Cut off some more. Let's see if we can reuse this. Get it up on there. My only fear is that by going like that I will actually bypass where the banjo bolt exits. So by doing that, you won't have any crankcase vent. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I got it on, but I'm not sure if I like that. I don't know how deep that banjo bolt is. If it's gonna vent or not. I guess I could always give Harley some more money and go buy the hoses from last year. But I guess I could probably start it and see if I got any stuff coming out of it. Let's give that a go. Alright, so it feels like it occludes it. Next option. Oh, mother verdacker. Now, get a piece of hose on it. Alright. Cut a short section of hose. Maybe we can play these reindeer games. Alright, so I've got a solution that kind of works. You can see there's the T-fitting. The one piece goes into one of the sections I cut off the original breather hoses. Comes down, and this piece is just a bent piece of tubing. But I'm pretty sure that this is applying pressure. It's not going to come off. And then I added an extra piece of tube with a joiner to the factory one, and it will actually sit behind where the air cleaner mounts. So, alright, let's go ahead and button this thing up now that it's driven me insane. Here is the, make sure you don't have any remnants of anything, but here's the supposed velocity spinner jammer. It's going to throw the air into your engine at Mach 27. But either way, it just goes over. It's a nice snug fit. So the velocity stack, is machined well. It fits right into there, holds it on. Now we've got the cover. It's just a mesh screen. No, nothing fancy. No flapper doors like the Kirakin or whatever. And then behind, we're gonna have to fish these in from behind and tighten them on. So let's play these games. Alright, that wasn't as bad as I thought it could be. These are 3/8, so we're back to Imperial. Alright, so there it is on the side of the bike, and I like them. I've seen them before. They've been around for a while. You got that little, got a nice bright sunlight in your eyes. So, alright, and you can see there's the one bolt, the second bolt, and the matching bolts up underneath. I guess for the 2018s, the hardest part of this install is screwing around with these damn vacuum lines. So, there you have it, the Cobra PowrFlo. Is it? Yeah, Cobra PowrFlo air cleaner. Looks pretty mean on this black fat bob. What model is this thing? It is a 606010B. So cool. All right, those of you that are wondering, yes, I will be retuning, but I'm not going to retune until I get the exhaust on, and then I've got a Eagle Street Performer to do it, and we'll play with Harley's EPA-friendly tuner. All right, till we get the exhaust.